Have you ever wondered about being a part of a book club? Why would you want to be a part of a book club? What is a book club all about? All of these things about book clubs. That's what we're here to talk about today. Hi, my name is Tiffanie Kellog, trainer for Ascentive, and my goal is to help people have more money, more time, and more fun. And I have certainly found that we can learn more to earn more utilizing books. And book clubs can be a great way to make that happen. So today for our live, instead of it just being me and one other person, I have a few guests here today that are part of my book club, and I want to introduce them to you. So starting off with the other half of TNT, we have Tom Fleming. Tom, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thank you, Tiffany. My name is Tom Fleming. I'm with the newly launched Vision Institute, which is a coaching company where I engage one-to-one with folks in helping them create vision for their business and their life and overcoming obstacles. And within that umbrella, I'm also heavily involved with Ascentive as well, doing a lot of where are you now assessments, complimentary assessments for people.
Awesome. Excellent. Glad to have you. Mercedes, you want to share who you are and a sentence or two about you?
Yeah, my name is Mercedes Buntz, and I am an estate planning and administration attorney, primarily in the Tampa Bay area. And I see myself as an information broker, helping match up the right legal information with my clients' specific needs so that we can make a plan so that they can then have peace of mind and spend their time doing what they want to be doing, like having more fun with Tiffany.
Awesome. And before we get Andrew to introduce himself, if you have questions about a book club, please put them in the comments where you're watching this on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. And do know, if you're on Facebook, either put your name in the comment because it won't tell me, or you can go to chat.restream.io/FB and that will get you connected. So questions, comments, we would love to hear from you. Andrew, tell us about you. So I'm hearing you. I see you moving your mouth, but I don't hear you. All right. So we're going to let Andrew, we're going to pop him off, let him try and figure that out. But we're going to go to Melinda next. Melinda, you want to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. Thanks, Tiffany. Hi, everyone. My name is Melinda Lugo. I'm a licensed massage therapist and certified neurosomatic specialist. What I do is help people get out of pain, teach them to live life better. I also direct clinical research, teaching massage therapists how they can use the power of touch to help people live a pain-free life.
Awesome. Excellent. Glad to have you here today. We have Courtney coming in. Courtney, who are you? What do you do?
Hear me? Awesome. Yes. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. My name is Courtney. I do social media marketing for festivals and events, specifically music and arts festivals, fitness events. That's kind of my passion. And I run a little company called Brightline. I'm based in Florida, but I have clients all over the country. So I help people about how awesome my clients are, basically.
Wonderful. And Andrew, let's try this again.
Testing. Yes. Hi. I'm glad. I wanted to go last anyway, so thank you. Andrew Gordon. I'm owner of Reliable Claims Adjusting, which is a public adjusting firm. As a licensed public adjuster, what I do, there's an epidemic of people wearing their pants too low. So I go around the street. So when I see someone wearing that, I lift their pants up. As a public adjuster, I represent homeowners, business owners. I get to stand up to bullies that try to underpay insurance claims. And I help people make sure they recover enough money during a claim to get their property fixed.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank this group of people that are here today because we have been doing a lot of learning since we started our book club in the beginning of 2021. And in preparation for today, I pulled out, this is all the books that we've read as this book club. So we've done a little bit of it. And what I want to do now is kind of open up with some Q&A from questions that we've gotten online and people commonly ask me. Though, again, please, if you have questions as you're watching this, feel free to comment with your questions, with your thoughts. If you're on Facebook, I put that link up there again because we would love to make sure we answer the questions that you have today. So the first question I want to start off with is this idea of what is your reason to be part of a book club? What is your reason to be part of a book club? Who wants to kick us off with Mr. First? All right, Andrew's like, I got this.
I was not a big reader for my youth, and one of the largest reasons why I'm in this book club, besides for the amazing people that I get to see weekly, is the accountability to make sure that I read and grow. And it's been huge because without the book club, I wouldn't be reading a tenth of the books that we're reading, I don't think.
Awesome. And I think you've actually taken this to the next level, because haven't you implemented a book club inside your company?
We tried to. We did. We had 4 or 5 weeks of doing it, and we just then exploded and haven't gone back to it. But yeah, I tried to get one going and reading the same books that we were reading, which was great. But yeah, we'll probably pick that up again.
Once you get through with all the storm stuff that happened, because there was a storm or 2 in Florida this year. So who else? What is your reason to be part of a book club?
Well, I'll go next. But kind of by nature and profession, I'm a nerd. Reading was my thing. My parents had to like kick me out of the house to go play outside because I always had my nose in a book. And I realized that just as an adult, I wasn't reading. And then if I was reading, it was kind of like fluff, which fluff had its place, don't get me wrong, but I needed to fill my mind with something of more substance. So I kind of balance out for every fluff. I try to read some mental heavy lifting that makes me think, or that gives me, some information. So, Tiffanie, when you brought up the idea of this book club, I was all in because it's something that I really enjoy. It puts me in a state of flow, like we were just talking about. and I realized I just wasn't making time for it.
Gotcha. Love it. Yeah. And it's interesting. And hearing you share that, I think about why did I start this book club a couple of years ago? We were talking about the atomic habits. I'm a visual gal. So we were talking about the atomic habits. And I'm like, I know that when I read in community, I'm so much more likely to actually do the reading, if nothing else. And so I start book clubs sometimes, and it's essentially I'll pick a book and I'll share it with the world on social media. Hey, I'm starting this book club. We're going to talk at Wednesdays at 1:30, which is the time that this group happens to meet. And we go from there. Now, if you want to continue on and how do you pick the book out, we'll get back to that in a minute. But I do want to ask a few of the other members of the book club, what's your reason for being part of the book club? And Tom has an answer he wants to share.
I think 2 things have already been mentioned. Learn more to earn more, which if you know me, I'm a big proponent of that. And also a sense of community. We started all this somewhat in the midst of COVID, and being able to connect with people via Zoom, we meet virtually, is very powerful. We do have a member in this group that has, I'm pretty sure, close to a photographic memory, and that's Mercedes Buntz. I am not like that. I love to read our chapter or 2 that we're reading per week well before our meeting. I make some highlights, and then I read those highlights the morning before the book club, and then we talk about the reading during the book club. And those 3 exposures with my approach to the book club really help me learn and embrace and take action upon the material. I just think a book club is a great way to really embrace and put in place what it is we're taking in, if you will.
Awesome.
And
Anybody else?
No, and if I may, just an addendum off of what Tom said, I think it's important that you're in a group with like-minded people, because I think it makes it a little bit easier to pick books, to talk about the books, to open up and share experiences with it.
Awesome. Does anybody else, and I know we've got other questions, does anybody else have anything want to add before we move on? Courtney's like, I do. Come on, girl.
I do. I've had
Courtney.
this just desire to learn more about how the world works, but how the earth functions, how our bodies work, how our minds work, and the potential that and that in conjunction with, I have a 6-year-old, and I want him to have a desire for reading, which means I have to regain that desire. And so this book club has lit a fire for the book that we're in the book club. I've also 2 other books that I'm listening to 2, and it's this constant flow of information. I absolutely love it. And so it's so great to connect with you guys every week and just bounce ideas free so we can let things fly. And it's just it's a really cool thing, and I'm excited to join it. So thanks.
We have a very open space between us. We have a very free space where it's positive, and I feel like I can say anything, and I do say things in our group that I probably wouldn't say to most other regular groups. Just openness.
Yes, that and the joy of being together, because I think we started in February of 2021. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like that's about when we started. So we've got to know each other pretty well, and there are times where we call each other out for like, really? Yeah,
Or sometimes you see things more clearly for someone else than you do for your own.
For
So
sure.
that I find that to have been very helpful too. You know, when one of you guys go, but Mercedes, you just said that, but I remember that before you said this, that, and the other. Oh yeah, I need to think about that.
I also love how sometimes Andrew will see something in a portion of the book, or Melinda will see something in a portion of the book that I didn't highlight. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is pretty profound. I missed that. So I think that's also an advantage of having a group of people read the same material, because everybody gets a little something different out of it.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if
So
you
I
have
want to switch questions, though. I think we're still in the same realm of how has being part of a book club benefited you? And so I think we've already kind of talked a little bit about that, but specifically, what have been the benefits that you've gotten out of being part of the book club?
Well, if I can chime in for one of the things that I've noticed, I mean, I interact with clients every day, and they will often ask me questions like, hey, what's an interesting book to read? Or, help me with my health and wellness lifestyle outside of the treatment room. And so it just so happens that a lot of the things we've read have to do with, business health, but also personal health, growth and development. And so to be able to have those conversations and say, you know what, this might be something that you want to read. And we've actually started buying copies of some of the books, and I actually give them to my clients sometimes and go, hey, this might be a great read for you. Never mind, it's great for their brains, right? We know that reading into our adulthood is very great for our brain health. So, it's been great to kind of help facilitate some of those conversations.
Love it. Courtney, I think you wanted to make a comment.
How it has benefited me, if I can gather my thoughts. Since I'm online and staring at a screen all day, it helps from my reality, which is online all day for social media marketing, and just get into a book. My morning 2 miles, listen to an audio book. It just kind of helps me get out of my own, kicks off the day for me. So it's definitely ingrained in my day-to-day now, which and then my son sees me reading, my husband sees me reading. I gave my dad the Wim Hof reading because he hasn't read in forever. And so I was like, read this book, you're going to love it. And he does. And so he too. And so you're so right. And Melinda, you run into people and you're like, oh, and just to be helpful and out for that resource is awesome. So not only benefit me, but
Excellent. Other benefits that you've found, Tom?
I think a book club is a relationship development tool. If you have people in your network that you'd like to get to know more, and their interests are similar to yours, start a book club with those people. I mean, prior to us engaging together, I had an in-depth relationship with Tiffany and Andrew and Courtney, but I've never really dealt at all or met Mercedes or Melinda or Paola, who can't be here today because it's open enrollment and she's an insurance agent. But I've really enjoyed, getting to know everybody at I keep the word intimate keeps popping into my mind, but that's not the right word. In more depth, I'll say it that way.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely. And one thing that we're not talking a ton about today, though I do want to put out there, one of the things that we do is we have a WhatsApp group just for our book club. And so as we're doing things, we might put things throughout the week of, hey, I tried this. Have you tried that? Here's a video that went along with it. And I think that not only are we talking, because we talk 30 minutes a week on Zoom, we're also communicating during the week via WhatsApp. So we're staying engaged more than just once a week. What other benefits have you found? I think it looks like you might have something you want to say, Mercedes.
Yep.
Okay.
You can read me, pretty well. But highlighting a different book that we've read, because I think even though different parts of all the books kind of touched on this, but I think The Gap and The Gain more directly touched on it. It's just about your mindset and thinking positive and perspective. If something that's not ideal happens to you, you can affect not necessarily the fact that it happened, but you can affect how you react to it in a more positive way, that's healthy. And I've commented to the group that since reading that, it has helped me beat my anxiety levels a lot. It helps me, not that I am not anxious ever, but it helps me be less anxious and manage it in a better way. And just, life happens to all of us. There's been a lot happening in my life lately. And I think without having read that book, without having the group to talk to and share about it, I think my head may have spun off my shoulder. I would have been dealing with things in a less ideal way than I'm dealing with it now. Now I just see it more of as a challenge to get through, and I know I'm going to get through it, rather than, oh my God, woe is me.
Gotcha. Love it. Love it. And I mean, we could probably go on. Our goal is not to be longer than a 30-minute video, so we're not. But we could probably go on and talk another 20 or 30 minutes on, how have you been benefited from the book club? So I do want to talk a quick bit. So I mentioned earlier when I wanted to start the book club, I just said, here's my book club. Here's when we're doing the book club. And that's it. And somebody's like, how did you pick the book? I'm like, it's the book that I wanted to read. Sometimes people will be like, because I have another book club and I usually pick the book, and they're like, why do you pick the book? I'm like, because it's my book club. And that's fine. However, this group, we've gotten a little bit more engaged and interactive. And I do have several book clubs that I'm a part of. I can read pretty quickly, and I'm okay reading a couple of nonfiction books at a time. So I do a few of them. But in this group, we've done it a little bit differently. Anybody want to kind of tell a little bit about what we do in picking the next book? Tom.
I wanted to comment first because I think a starting point for any group is, are you all thematically interested in the same material? I too belong to two different book clubs. One book club, not this one, is associated with health and wellness. We only read health and wellness books. This book club is more in alignment with personal development. Mainly from a business perspective, meaning that, I know that for my business to grow, I must grow. And I think that's part of the secret to this group, is we all have similar interests in what we read. And I'm kind of the loose keeper of the list of past books suggested that we haven't gotten to. And what we do is we kind of share that list with each other, and then we have, I don't want to say productive debate, but productive conversations about what's next. Yeah.
And
but I just wanted to mention that key to chemistry, really, of, get with a group that everybody has similar interests.
And if I may, I think it's kind of been an organic progression in what we've read. And I think we've found out that there's a common thread through everything. But particularly about picking books, I fessed up before. I wasn't that particularly interested in the Wim Hof book, but I knew that Andrew and Tom really.
Oh no, we don't.
Oh, there she is.
She's back. You're
on
back,
mute.
maybe? Well, we can see you, but we can't hear you.
Technology.
Yay!
I agree.
Someone put words in Mercedes' mouth. It wasn't particularly
Yeah,
interesting, but she loved it.
There were several. I was like this, the gap in the game that Mercedes was just talking about. I was like, yeah, everybody else wants to read this book. Fine, it's fine, whatever. And if you know me, you know fine is not necessarily a good word. But I totally love this book. Implemented a ton of it into my life. Made a huge difference. So I think it's brilliant. So part of what I love about the fact that we do this kind of in community is that we're exposed to books. I was just looking, and of the 7 that we've read for this group, only 1 was on my list prior to people in this group bringing it to the forefront.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Anything else we want to add on the how we pick what book to read?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm constantly buying books. Like I'll see a recommendation from another book or a podcast, and I immediately buy it. And then I have this huge giant stack of books that I will get through it if I have all my book club friends read it at the same time. So that's usually the ones that I recommend.
Yes, and that makes total sense. I've had some books that are more sciencey or hard to get through that book clubs, because it's like you don't want to show up to the book club without the reading, so you do it.
Yeah.
All right. So our last question that I want to get to is, what books have you read, and what have you gotten from the book? And so we've read lots of different books, so I'm just going to let everybody here kind of share one of their favorite books. It doesn't have to be all of them, just one of them. And I'm going to mute a few of you that are, okay, I think we're good. Andrew looks like he has Ikigai ready to go to start this conversation. This
is my favorite book that we have read, and it's the book that I quote to most friends if I'm talking about the books that we've done. Ikigai, The Japanese Secret to a Long and Happy Life. And I don't know who recommended it, but bless you for recommending the book.
Cool.
Should I give a synopsis of it?
In a sentence or two.
Yeah. A book where people have interviewed the centenarians around the world and asked them, how have you lived so long? And wouldn't y'all like to know the answers to that?
Yeah, love it.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
Read too.
What was that, Courtney?
I said it's an easy read. I like the ones that know.
Awesome. Who else wants to share one of the books and how it's benefited you?
I think a little bit of all of them. All of them have benefited me. I won like eating to 70 to 80% for a while, but I haven't been doing it consistently. But now I am, and I feel so much better. And the 3 wins for the day, like it's huge, because at the end of the day you're just exhausted and you're just, well, wait a minute, it wasn't, because I had these 3 things. And the Wim Hof, just with the breathing, it changes everything. All the stuff for, I battle anxiety, so anything that down and reprogram my brain, I am all for. So how to do the work was huge for me. Crumbs, a little bit of gems from each one, and each one has little moments that stand out that I implement immediately. Yeah, it's been really cool to just kind of go on this journey with you guys.
Yeah. And I love Courtney sharing, it's like little nuggets that come from each. And I think that, if you've got 100, 200 pages, 300 pages in a book, it's hard to implement it all. And so it's really about what are the handful of nuggets that really resonate with you and implementing those. Mm-hmm. Who else? One of your favorite books and why? That we've done. Melinda.
I'm going to kind of echo what Andrew was talking about with Ikigai. It is a very easy book to read, but I want to live to be really old. I want to live to be 100. And, the secrets that they share, when you read them, you're like, oh, well, that seems simple enough. I remember a lot of it was like wisdom that our grandparents used to share with us. but put together in that way that makes sense. It's like, wow, these things they're simple, sometimes not easy, but I can see being able to adapt the principles in that book to help me live a very long life and I want to be that old lady that's still kind of kicking it. And so I feel like I can do it.
Same.
Yeah, and I think it's funny. Courtney's about the 80%, eat till you're 80% full. I really resonated with the after you're sitting for 25 minutes, your metabolism goes down by like 90%. So I'm like, I need to get my butt up more often. Even if I just stand up, reach the sky, at least hopefully that's reactivating the metabolism. So we do have some fun ones. Now, Mercedes, I think you had a book you wanted to share. Which one?
I think I'm back. And actually taking it even more back to basics, what I was starting to say before technology conspired against me was the Wim Hof book was one I was about reading. And it's one of the ones I think that made the most impact because of the surprise, just learning how to, something as simple as we all know how to breathe, right? Not correctly, and not to unlock all the healthy things that our bodies are capable of. So that's one that was kind of like one of my favorites because it was a surprise and practical and useful. He joked about a hangover remedy, using breathing to cure a hangover, and that his daughter thought that he was full of hooey until he actually tried it and it got rid of her hangover.
And I haven't tried that method for a regular hangover, but I have used the breathing method that Wim Hof talks about for a migraine hangover, and it knocked it out for 12 hours, which usually I need like Loratab to knock it out. So if I could breathe, that's probably better for me than taking a Loratab. So love it. Any other books that y'all want to spotlight, Tom?
Quickly, I love the book we're in the middle of right now. I think it's Trust the Universe. It's about the law of attraction and manifesting, creating the life that you'd like to create for yourself, which some people know I'm all about. Many people know me as more of a business person, but I'm also very spiritual, and I enjoy our adventures with this group along those lines.
Awesome.
And talking about manifesting, the author lives locally. So just putting this out there, if the author would like to join us on one of our book club sessions.
Yeah, Stephanie Keith.
Stephanie Keith lives in
Loretta, Stephanie Keith.
Trust the Universe.
Stephanie Keith, get on it. Holler at us.
If we can share this video, we should tag her.
Awesome. So we are coming up to the end of our time today, but I wanted to give everybody here an opportunity to just share one more thing if they wanted to, why you should be a part of book club, what kind of book club, benefits. This is your last opportunity. The people that hung around to the end to get that last little bit. Who wants to start us off with your last closing thought for being a part of a book club?
As Mercedes mentioned, there's some negativity out there, and surrounding myself with groups of positive and uplifting people, and knowing that I engage in them with them weekly gives me something to look forward to in my week that is positive, as I try and cast away all negative energies.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And we're just going to go alphabetically now. So Andrew, Courtney, then Melinda, then Mercedes.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm frozen, but you can hear me.
And I can see you too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just for me, I'm frozen. Okay.
Apparently.
The closing for me is that I never was in a book club until this book club. And like you're in multiple clubs, and now I want to get into more book clubs. Like with my company, I have bought a couple of the books we've done for my company. They all love it, and so it's helped me on my journey, and I'm so grateful.
Love it. How about you, Melinda?
I think Reading kind of, like as I mentioned earlier, it's good for your brain. So feed your brain, expand your knowledge, maybe test or challenge some of your present thinking, and to be able to do that with people that you can interact with. Now we're very lucky; we can do this even remotely. We don't have to meet somewhere in person. We've had a couple of years where we haven't been as connected as we could or perhaps should be, and this is a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Melinda, that we are, we don't have to be in person. And that reminded me, my book clubs, because I've been doing book clubs, I don't know, it's been a while. We used to do them on the phone, and those were good too. However, I do much more prefer the Zoom book clubs than I do the phone book clubs. That might just be me, but I did want to put that in there. And Courtney, whom I skipped, sorry.
It's okay. It's all, yeah. My biggest thing is we get one shot, at this life, and we have one brain and no one selves, and you're never too old to learn something new. It doesn't have to be self-help book. It doesn't, whatever it could be. You can learn how to garden, and you can learn how to be a carpenter. That will help you in life. And so why not, and take break something new and make yourself feel better. So yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Get after it.
Kicking over to you, Mercedes.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to convey is reading brings me joy. And that was something that I had gotten away from. A lot of the reading that I do is very dry for my work. And I'm writing a lot of it, and it's in legalese, and that's not fun. So going back to reading for reading's sake was a joy for me. But also, what Courtney said earlier sparked something. She's reading because she thinks it's important to teach her son to read. And I think in this day and age where technology has taken over so much, just the joy of picking up a book in your hand. That said, the only book that I actually have is the Atomic Habits. All the other ones I have it on Kindle, but that's because I downsized. I don't have room for my library anymore. But just reading is fundamental. You guys remember that? Growing up?
Yeah.
It's a building block, and it can help you in so many things, because what you choose to read then feeds your soul, your mindset, and your growth.
Yeah, I think reading is an amazing thing. It's another way for us to learn. And I love the book clubs because not only do we read it, Tom rereads it and rereads it and rereads it. We discuss it. We get different perspectives. We keep it alive during the week with the WhatsApp conversations, and we implement. I read a great little nonfiction business book this weekend, 120 pages. I knocked it out in a single setting, no big deal. However, I will not do as much with it as if I had done it with this group, because we take our time, which I think people don't always do nowadays. It's not about how many can you read. It's about how much can we implement to make that, impact, so we can have the amazing business and success, amazing business and spectacular life.
And I like that what you do, you take notes in it too, and you write down when you read it. So I think that's very helpful too, when you go back to it.
Yeah, because I'm able to say the Ikigai, we started January 26th of 2022. And I actually write down the name, not only the date, but I write down who are the people that read the book with me. So then I can go back and look and say, okay, this was who was part of that journey with me. And speaking of journey, I want to say thank you, everybody, for watching the video, for being part of this journey with us. Thank you so very much to my fellow book clubbers for being here to share this discussion. And, if you ever want to be a part of book club, let me know. I've got another one that we're starting in March of 2023. We're going to be reading Dr. Meisner's newly revised Who's in Your Room. And then you never know. I have other books clubs that are coming around. I love to read. To me, the more you learn, the more you earn. So thanks, everybody, so much. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.